No, coding should not be a high school graduation requirement for the simple fact that not everybody should learn how to code. Just like not everybody should be pushed into the medical field and try to become a doctor or even a lawyer for that matter. Now, let's think about this. Do you want somebody to work on you when you're sick if they do not want to be a doctor? Because guess what? That's exactly what you're going to get when you're trying to push everybody to learn how to code. Yes, I'm a software developer myself, and I do believe that the world around us is definitely becoming more digital every day, and we will need more programmers. We're going to need more project managers moving forward. However, if the person doesn't like technology, they shouldn't work in technology. If you don't like technology, like really like technology, then guess what? You're not going to like technology. You're not going to like working in technology. You're not going to like professions in the technology space, like software development for that matter. Even in this article, it states that more jobs will require some kind of computer science knowledge. But again, this article didn't really state what do they mean by that. I mean, when we're talking computer science, we're talking, at least from the first year, university classes, we're talking, sorting algorithms, we're talking big O notation, we're talking things like space and time complexity. Now, are jobs that are not in the computer science aspect of the technology space, are you going to need to know those things outside of that? I don't think so. Even in programming, you don't necessarily need to know, about some sorting about the details of sorting algorithms. You don't even need to really know that to do your everyday day-to-day task of just, creating APIs and working on front ends, back ends, and things like that. So, I wish this article would have gone a little bit more in details about what exactly do they mean about computer science knowledge. But now, if you think about this, why are companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon pushing for this? Everybody should code meme of yesteryear. Everybody should code. Everybody should get into technology. Why are these companies constantly pushing this thinking, right? Well, this article even stated why they're doing it. For the most part, these companies are just really looking for cheap labor. That's it. That's all these companies are doing, is looking for cheap labor. Even this article states that training people to code didn't mean that they would secure better, higher paying, and more stable jobs. It just meant that there was a larger pool of possible entry-level employees who would drive down the labor costs for the growing computer industry. Now, this article is talking about, more of like the things of like from the past, but this article and what they're saying still applies today. A lot of these companies, all they care about is driving down the cost of the average programmer. That's it. These companies do not want to pay these high salaries that some of the best programmers, like the senior level programmers, are commanding. They simply do not. If these companies could pay these workers, programmers, a cheaper salary, you don't think they would? They pretty much would. What they want is more people, more entry-level people in the field, basically driving down the cost. It's the basic supply and demand principle at play here. The more people you have going after pretty much the same amount of jobs, guess what? The more you can drive down that cost that you can pay people. Even in this article, they were saying that one consultant to this project suggested that for future training programs, GE should give preference to younger people without families to minimize labor costs for the company. Why are these companies encouraging more and more people to get into this field? So they can pay cheaper and cheaper salaries for the employees. That's really all it is. That's not to say that you shouldn't get into this field, because again, like they said, you can make a ton of money. You can make a ton of money in this field. You can, secure a better life for yourself while working in technology, specifically in software development. You definitely can. But you have to realize, why these companies what are these companies doing? Why are they pushing so much for that everybody should code? Not only the people who eagerly want to code, but just everybody, any and everybody. It's because they just want cheaper labor at the end of the day. That's all they want. If they could pay less for the same thing, best believe they will. So before you encourage anybody to actually get into coding, think about, do they actually care about it? Do they have a sense of, okay, they like technology, or are they just in it for the money? Because if they're just in it for the money, trust me, once they get into the field, they're going to have a rude awakening when they realize that, oh man, sitting on the computer behind the screen 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day is just not for me. Instead of them wasting all of that energy and effort learning a skill that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort to learn, instead of wasting all of that effort, they can apply to something else. So, back to the question, should high schools make coding as a graduation requirement? No, not at all. Not at all. But what do you think? Do you think everybody should learn how to code? Do you think that, the meme from yesteryear is correct? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know.